top 5. I think a lot of people would have expected Space Station to be an easy lock for top 5 in North America, especially after how well the early Swiss stages went in the last region.
Yeah, but then you see, when we come down into this matchup, onto our Saturday's matches, it's just going to come down to who wants to upset the other one a little bit more. We've already seen a couple of upsets today. You know, the match we've had, version 1 going over Furia, maybe not an upset, but I'd probably say the NRG going over Optic, potentially an upset considering form. I don't know if either of these teams, if they win, would be an upset, however. I think they are pretty level. However, Comlexity just started that bit weaker than Space Station, considering they didn't even make top 8 in our previous regional.
And in the big picture, Stumpy, you're 100% right. But just looking at the strength of schedule that Comlexity had to play through to get to this point, they had some really big names they had to take down to get here, and they did it pretty comfortably.
Yeah, I mean, Optic, you know, they went through 3-2. Then Gen G, they 3-0'd them. That's an unbelievable feat they were able to do. They did then lose to FaZe, and then they managed to take it away versus V1. V1, yes, they looked a little bit weaker, but that's still a phenomenal situation they found themselves in to go through in 4. But Space Station, they went through in 4 as well. Both teams having that 3-game differential, except they went through Rogue, they then lost to Furia, then it was Shopify Rebellion and G2 who didn't make it into that top 8, who then stood in their way for them to be here. So, yeah, I'd agree. Comlexity had a harder time of it, but Space Station, they have had historically a little bit better matchup, especially when you look back at the at how these teams have faced off against each other.
And already, we've seen some chances on both sides, but Raise Bull will score the first goal. We saw Daniel get a look earlier, but Raise Bull putting in, passing to himself off the corners in the pre-flip air dribble. You see that extra little air roll into the ball that pushed it by the defender.
I love that. Just that last little touch when he was air rolling through the ball onto the left meant that it gave it a smidge more power, meant that he was able to get it past that final defender. Great movement by Raise Bull as well. And he's not the man we've been looking at recently, though, because it's CRR and LJ, the two newest players on this roster. CRR removing LJ from that game just then as he demoed him off the pitch. It's been a battle of the newbies, and it's the first time these two rosters are facing each other. Which one is going to have the slightly better go of it as CRR? He's the one scoring, and he's the one giving that 2-0 lead to Comlexity.
Well, does that answer the question?
Not yet, James. Not yet.
You know, you're right. It's very early on, but already Comlexity 2 goals over Space Station. The Space Station team, after seeing how dominant they were in the Fall Open, in the Swiss stage, even in the last main event, Swiss stage, looking very, very good. But now we do see the response. Daniel had a chance earlier in the game. This time has a ball bounce out to him and does not miss this chance.
I love that idea from LJ. Knows he's going to go for that shot because Razor's probably going to cover most things he goes for. So pips it off the wall and then goes instantly for that demo. Opens the net up so that Daniel can have a nice easy shot on target. Great play, good team play. Selfless as well, which is what you're going to be needing. Because if you can feed Daniel, then you got a good chance in this series.
And also LJ didn't have to get a bump there, but would have been able to if there was anyone in position to even go for that save. So a nice response by Space Station. They still find themselves trailing. We're about halfway through the game. CRR, Raise Bull, there's a double commit. Arsenal trying to keep this pressure going before AJG finally can clear it out, but it's right to Daniel, and Daniel was able to maintain control for that first touch and has support from LJ. The drop down, Arsenal decides not to take the shot.
Oh, maybe going to regret that one as well because he was left completely open to shoot on now. I think Comlexity thought he was going to take that shot, meant that they were going to be sitting back a touch more, but Arsenal just did not fancy going for it. Interesting decision, but it hasn't led to any goals going in, so not detrimental necessarily, but a clear-cut chance for Arsenal, playing a little bit on the safe side.
Yeah, the safe side, and you wonder if that's the right call when you're already trailing, but perhaps Arsenal is not wanting to gamble too much, especially when it is just a 1-goal game. It opens up that 0-second play. We were seeing a lot of possession for Space Station before CRR finally gets a clear out. There's a flip reset. It'll pop it high, but doesn't do much for the clear. AJG staying in the play with a little pinch pass down, but no one from Comlexity was there for a fast shot.
And it was Daniel messed up in net where he was just about got bumped, and so he wasn't able to get anything too convincing on that play. Had to go up super awkwardly, and double commit from AJG and CRR leaves it to Razeball to clear up that mess that they've generated. Only 50 boost now. AJG has the ball worked around him, and LJ wants him to drop it low, but CRR, the man standing in the way, the best performer on Comlexity yesterday, and he outperformed in general every player on Space Station. He had just a higher rating overall. However, he was individually outplayed on pretty much every stat, so he was a lot more consistent than all of Space Station put together. But then when you look at it as more of a minute details, and when you see them specialize, that's where Space Station really started to put it together.
Space Station, a solid unit. Same could be said for Comlexity. But you're right, CRR topping the charts offensively for Comlexity, but Razeball also doing a fair amount of lifting. And there's an open net shot. Is it in?
Wide!
The post, and it doesn't win. LJ, from his perspective, I mean, he's rolling back, just waiting for a chance, and it does hit off the post and go out.
And that blue decal, LJ, threw me for a loop, because I thought you were going for the shot, and then you didn't, because actually you're on the orange team. Very confusing. Lovely decal regardless. I still like your Space Station, but my word, LJ, just pick the other one, man. That was a devastating chance, but Daniel, the top scorer from yesterday, gets another.
And there was a double commit. You saw both CRR and Razeball, or it was CRR and AJG going for that ball. And that has to hurt for Comlexity. They gave away that opportunity. In Space Station, they have had most of the possession this game, and now stealing pinch. Daniel will boom it downfield. LJ getting bumped. AJG trying to challenge LJ, putting a hand up. Arsenal pre-flip will keep the ball in play. CRR back down into the middle. It was dangerous, but nobody from Space Station there. And now Space Station a chance to steal game one when they were trailing.
I think the open net is going to haunt Comlexity if they can't win this game. They had time to shoot, they had time to go for it. But instead, as that one goes from the backboard, LJ can clear it away, but CRR knows where that ball is going, and in the first 15 seconds, it's been Comlexity pushing as hard as they can. That blue side, the tidal wave sweeping over the orange part of our pitch. Arsenal can drop it into Daniel, instead wants to go solo. And again gets the second reset. LJ wants to commit on that ball and does so with Razeball on the backboard. It's going to get low on boost, only 30. Sent long by CRR, and Daniel with a vital touch high. Wow. And then the second touch midfield. And then to LJ, get the double. CRR ruining dreams.
Yes, CRR had only 3 boosts left after making that defensive stop, and that was a threatening double tap play, and it all was thanks to that Daniel save. Not only getting that first save, but then getting hard pass out to LJ. Space Station, they're surging late, but now we see CRR, the light flick towards net. LJ will stretch to make the save. Comlexity and Space Station going blow for blow.
That's 3 convincing chances I think we've seen for both teams in the first minute of this overtime. Nobody wanting to back down. Comlexity know that they are chasing to try and get away from that open net miss, trying to ride on the momentum our Space Station gaming. Different methods going into it, but both want that same end result of a goal going there, where with LJ at the back, just trying to pick it around with Razeball going for a demo, then a pass back to AJG. Those 2 teammates being able to link up to be vital, but instead Daniel can send it long. Razeball high with CRR, this time not committing with him. Those double commits have been plaguing Comlexity somewhat. Can go high over the top again of a defender. The next 40 seconds has very much been even split yet again.
This is a chance for Arsenal. Wants to slow it down. CRR getting back. CRR on the back check has been doing very well, helping Comlexity out in tight situations. And now Comlexity have possession at the mid. LJ right out to AJG. Daniel airborne. That's always scary if you're on the other team, seeing Daniel flying with boost in the ball. AJG. The challenge now. Nice first touch from Razeball. Flip reset ball to the backboard. Double tap is too high, but it was a threatening play. Razeball almost making it happen for Comlexity.
And didn't have the boost to get himself over that ball either. Hence, he just had to do whatever he could, try and get the assist, but it does get saved away. And CRR, that man, continuing on with those Spanish roots and just going for the bim bam. He is chasing the ball everywhere it goes on the pitch. I love watching it. That import from him. The fact that he's come over to North America and he's doing incredibly well in this game is huge. He gets moved from the pitch this time. He's going to be swinging that back corner alongside AJG, who can just about tip it around the side of Arsenal. LJ in the mid, just picked up that 100 boost, and they get around 3 defenders. Can he pass it out? Doesn't need to. Gets the bump. Daniel's there. Daniel to shoot wide with CRR forcing it up the ramp.
Man, CRR has made some really clutch defensive plays, but now pass Daniel off the ceiling, booms it, and Raisbull was sitting on the backboard. Another chance now for Space Station. Arsenal going to fight to get that ball out mid, but Raisbull taps it around him and maintains control. The 50 at the mid will leak out to CRR. Now back to Daniel, who hits it to the corner, self-pass play. Now pass off the corner, LJ and Arsenal are up. Now it's going to be a chance for Daniel to slow the play down, and he does, and he needed to because that would have been a numbers advantage for Comlexity. Still a shot comes in, but it's easily saved by LJ.
This is game 1. We're under 4 minutes into this overtime, and it's been a disgusting amount of opportunities. Those shots, a lot of them being shut down before they're registered, but we're seeing easily over 10 aside. Daniel now putting that into the back left corner. Arsenal to pick it up, only 5 boosts, hoping for the 100, but it doesn't spawn. AJG knows it, and AJG goes to strike. 50 boost on Daniel to the midfield, but only 5 remaining, and we're just seeing it get trickled away on the side of SSG. The patience game for Comlexity. They, yesterday, were waiting back in their own defensive third, almost the highest amount out of any team that we saw. A lot of midfield play from them, and rarely were they committing into that final third unless they had that clear-cut opportunity to shoot and score. And CRR going for that, Arsenal to save it away.
Arsenal trying to clear that ball to safety. Now Raisbull denied by Daniel, who's been a force on that backboard, not letting Comlexity have any backboard play. Arsenal will get a second tip. Daniel, oh, you see Raisbull actually messed up his flip. Will be late to the challenge. AJG and CRR both jump. Now Arsenal going to try to get this back to the middle. LJ off the crossbar, double tap, and Space Station will lock in game 1.
Battle of the new kids on the block. The first blood goes to LJ from the crossbar and down. Raisbull, all he can do is try to put a hand up. I learned that earlier in the green room. It means in a basketball, you put your hand up to block it. James explained it very kindly to me. And he just wasn't able to slap that ball away. Space Station taking game number 1.
And I mean, both CRR and LJ, the new kids on the block, so to say, at least on these rosters, both having moments in the game. But LJ, that last one, it looked like it hit off the crossbar, and it wasn't a clean bounce straight out. It looked like it did come down a little bit, but still LJ read it perfectly and was able to close that one out. Almost 2 full games of Rocket League were played there, and Comlexity is going to be kicking themselves, Stumpy. They had this game firmly in their control and gave up that goal in the final 10 seconds.
You just hate to see it. You hate to see the ball roll in the net and you're thinking, that's in, that's not in. Oh dear, I've shot that just slightly too wide. They weren't able to finish it either. LJ with this increasingly confusing decal managed to save it away and just made sure that Space Station got that final goal and then managed to take that game. But on Aquadome, will things be different? Because Comlexity, that was an incredibly tight game from them. Just one moment decided the fate.
Oh, and now they're going to concede a kickoff goal. Things go from bad to worse for Comlexity. Arsenal, after getting the kickoff, is able to get that small pad landing on it and pulling the trigger quickly. Arsenal doing everything himself, unassisted.
I mean, we saw, what was it, 2 or 3 kickoff goals in that previous game? Both teams being so strong and yet also so weak on them, managing to take control of those situations as and when it falls into their favor. So going to want to be seeing that, I'm sure, Comlexity get a nice early goal, but we've very much gone past that realm of the kickoff goal time as LJ into the sky gets removed by AJG. Missile finding its way onto that devastating player.
Daniel going for a 50. It pinches back towards the Space Station net, but LJ comfortably has it. Now Arsenal off the sidewall, stopped down by Raisbull, but it's to LJ. Arsenal gets the bump on CRR, but not after CRR boomed it downfield. Space Station has been keeping Comlexity locked down in this quarter quite a bit, even in the previous game.
I mean, it's that back third, though, where Comlexity, they're more than happy to exist. As I said, they were able to hang out there and still go 3-on-1 in our Swiss yesterday. That is where they seem more comfortable. They go for those 50s, then go for the counter-attacks. That's very much their play style. Whereas SSG, they're wanting to push maybe a little bit more. Comlexity so far have been able to hold off almost every attack that SSG have put on their net. But it's just every now and then one is going to squeak through. But that's also the risk you take by being a more defensively minded team.
And we have seen a lot of those defensively minded teams have a lot of success. You know, it's not as common as the teams, you know, who are very offensive getting most of the wins, but we have seen teams thinking like Veloce in the past who have been very defensive, and it's worked out.
It's worked out, but it's not exactly exciting Rocket League when it does work out. Thankfully, Comlexity got a little bit more to them than Season 8, I believe, Veloce, when they had that overtime game. But a goal coming in. Daniel sending it long. Arsenal, I just to flip just over the top. AJG potentially, no, AJG was not getting there, so Arsenal shamelessly stealing that one away from his compatriot.
And Comlexity caught out Arsenal. Another goal. And it seems to be a comfortable start for Space Station. Perhaps they've figured this Comlexity team out. And Space Station, I mean, this would be massive for them. They already have one top 4 finish. Another one here would put them in such a fantastic position looking at the Rotterdam Major.
I wonder if they're able to clutch at all. I'm throwing that question into the ether and hoping that Direct ears pick up on it. Because there must be some kind of situation where they're going to be able to, seeing as, you know, they did so well in the previous event. So ideally, they're going to be hoping that they're going to be able to squeak their way in. But Comlexity, they had that performance. They went 10th. They did not do very well in the full open. They need to get something today. Going 8th from 10th isn't quite what you're going to be needing. I appreciate that both these teams are going to be in our 3rd invitational-based regional. And that goal, potentially going to be giving them a little bit more of confidence going into Aquadom.
Arsenal goes up on the backboard. He was expecting a high shot, and once he went up there, the low shot completely threw him off. Arsenal not able to make that defensive play, and that gives some hope now for Comlexity. And it's so interesting as well, Stumpy, just seeing Comlexity in North America. Oh, LJ, I thought I had a moment, but LJ decides to put one in. And this one again quickly off kickoff, and it was thanks to a 50-50. CRR just goes for boost.
And it was LJ quickly whipping himself round that left side of the ball and then just smashing it towards the net. If you're going to be just going for that net as soon as you can off kickoff, go for the sheer speed of it. Nothing accurate needed. Just send it. And he did so. And James, I really do want to hear your point that you were about to make earlier as well.
Well, I was just going to say NA is in a very interesting spot. You thought things were interesting when Comlexity decided to move to NA to compete. They were the top dog in South America. And now they're in a situation where they're trailing Furia, a team that, you know, they had bettered during their time in South America. And now Comlexity bring over a European player in CRR, and they're fighting from behind. This really does seem like it is a moment of desperation for Comlexity in this split, and maybe even this year.
And they need this series win, otherwise making the major is incredibly difficult for them. They going to just has not helped them. Even when we saw, you know, G2 going out in 9th, I think it was, in the end yesterday, that's going to make their major considerably harder. It becomes a bigger question of, okay, lads, we just need to get top 8 again, then we've secured it. It then becomes a case of, lads, we need to, like, get 2nd or 1st to actually make that major. And
we got to make the finals. And
yeah.
With an NA region that is more stacked than it's ever been.
I completely agree. Yeah, I've never seen NA this strong, and it's so much fun to watch. It's an incredibly fun region to watch. I'm like, it gets late in EU when I'm watching, and I'm still like wrapped like in a blanket near my computer watching, like, oh my gosh, this is incredible. I can't wait to watch them.
If you like the international matchups, just watch NA. That's all you need.
Exactly. And NA regional is essentially just a mini major now.
And that's what it feels like. And so far, Space Station has had everything in their control. They had a slow start in game 1, bringing it back, tying things up in the last 10 seconds, winning in overtime. And game 2 has been all Space Station. Things started out hot with a kickoff goal for Arsenal, and they've kept on going. But now, Comlexity, they can get back into this game, but they need to score right now, and we'll have to see a miracle off kickoff. And with that 50 and that clear, this game is locked in for Space Station.
And great control from them as well, just shutting down every play that they could in the final, you know, couple of minute and a half, something like that. They were able to take control of that series, take control of that game rather, get the boost, move around the pitch in such a dominant fashion where Comlexity really could not work their way out. And I want to put a bit of a magnifying glass over AJG here, because he ended that game with 72 boost and zeros across the board. Not a goal, not an assist.
Points.
Sorry,
right?
sorry, I do, James. Gosh, you're very on it today.
I was going to say, 72 boost is one thing, 72 points? That's
he should have spent it and got a goal. No, he also had 0 goals, 0 assists, 0 saves, 0 shots. That was an atrocious game from AJG, and I believe we've just heard that a timeout is being called for Comlexity. Yes, just 100% you need it.
You're right. You definitely need it, because, I mean, it's tough seeing it from Complexity's perspective, where that game won. You know, if you linger on it, you're just going to be thinking, we should have won that game. We should have had that game. We gave it up in the final seconds. And then not only to lose the lead in those final seconds, but also go for a decent overtime. It was almost 5 minutes of overtime, and to lose it against that LJ double tap off the crossbar, that takes a toll. I mean, emotionally, mentally, that takes a toll. And so we're already seeing in a game 2, game 2, Comlexity already calling a timeout. So this really feels like
not.
Stumpy. Oh, they're not.
They're not. I apologize. I misheard.
72 boost, false timeouts. Stumpy, you're making this tough for me.
It's been a long day. It's 8:45. I'm an old man. I'm normally in bed at this point. Leave me alone.
I thought you moved to NA2, so I'm glad. I just didn't even realize. I apologize.
If only. But no, it's no timeout. And CR, he nipped out to get a car change. And that Comlexity decal may well be the magic that they need.
Arsenal. I don't know if he lost sight of CRR or what, or maybe thought that touch would kick it even harder out to the sidewall, but gets cut off. And so we see a freebie for Comlexity and CRR. Spacestation will find themselves trailing early, and this is the position that Comlexity was in last game after the Arsenal kickoff goal. And you saw the nice pass, but it was well read.
We've had a couple of opportunities to get proper highlight reel goals in this game, or in this series, and yet they just haven't worked. And it's really quite disappointing. I want to be seeing something incredible like we saw from Beast Mode in the previous match, where he was just sending in sling slang after sling slang. Let's see what you can do, boys. Let's see what magic you're able to conjure up. The first minute has seen a few opportunities for Daniel on that left wing. He's going to chain dash with no boost, but being able to get close to that ball just rushes CRR, and then Arsenal can move in behind him. Great movement by Daniel to open up Arsenal into that play with the 100 boost stolen from the opposite corner. He can now continue pushing in the midfield. Daniel's aggression is unmatched at the moment.
Daniel, such a threat. But we've seen it, but even LJ and Arsenal can do. Arsenal tapping it out off his own corner. LJ taking over, and it's a nice first touch, setting up an air dribble, going for the dunk. It does come back out. Arsenal doesn't make contact, and now the tables have turned, and Daniel stands tall on defense to deny that chance for Comlexity.
And then starts moving down the pitch for his own opportunity. But if there's one man that you need at the back to defend from that 1v1, it's going to be Daniel, one of the greatest 1v1 players North America has ever seen. And he proves it, I'm sure, in every single game that we see him compete in. He is phenomenal. He's never lost that touch. Seeing him now moving into the midfield with the ball. Raiseball is able to clear it away. Tries to bump Arsenal out of the way. And Arsenal up for that double touch. Can't quite squeak it. But the CRR, with a crucial error, opens the net for Daniel.
CRR was coming back from getting the mid boost and thought that ball was going in. Dove at it to try to save it. But, I mean, it wasn't really that close. It hit fairly far out near the post. And it was an easy goal now, and that has to hurt for Comlexity. That is a tilting goal to give up.
It's the threat of just that going in and you knowing that you're not quite able to get back for it. See, I had to dive. I think he had a decent number of boosts. I think that's where he just come from. But yeah, it wasn't quite ready for that one to be just a touch out. LJ, though, being able to clear the one onto the ramp. AJG with a miss this time. Raiseball clearing onto that right-hand wall with CRR lurking with 60 boost, tries to nip it over the top, but instead LJ shooting, saving by Raiseball. Every attack from Space Station is coming from a different part of the pitch. Their heat map looks mental right now.
And they're burning that field up. CRR going to try to douse them right now with a split reset. and it's going to be a rebound, but AJG, oh, he does score it. I thought maybe he had taken too long, but no, there was so much space for AJG that he's able to find his mark.
Daniel only just landed, then immediately goes to that jump because the ball just goes directly above him. Theoretically, he can get to it, but AJG took the perfect amount of time, sends it in calculatedly in an awkward spot for Daniel, and getting the lead, Comlexity, in good considering, you know, that one error they had is where Space Station managed to get their goal, and must be coming out from LJ, but ends it only with 10 boost, so he has to retreat. Arsenal tries to find Daniel on the backboard, and instead goes solo himself, and with 2 minutes remaining, Comlexity, this lead starting to hold itself a little bit more firm, but CRR does not manage to get that boost, and he's going to be a little bit stunted on this defense, and Daniel attacking. This is just the rotation from SSG holding Comlexity back, where they're quite happy to be at home, but you just feel like it's only a matter of time.
It does feel like it, especially after witnessing Comlexity give up the lead in the final 10 seconds in game one. This lead not safe. We're seeing a lot more demos on both sides of the ball. LJ and Arsenal both on the same wall. This is going to give a chance to Razebull and AJG, but that pinch on the 50 going to slow things down. Comlexity, it looked promising for a moment. Still, now they have a shot. CRR shot will be high. Follow-up was going in, but Arsenal able to get there in time. The power on Razebull's shot wasn't enough.
You see the power and the venom that Comlexity are able to supply as and when they get these opportunities to shoot. They're not going to force the issue. They're not going to keep penning SSG back into their own half. They're going to wait. They're going to bide their time, collect the boost, and then go for that three-pronged attack and try to go through the heart of Space Station with their trident.
Arsenal shot opportunity, double commit. Razebull up against LJ. Corner play. Now Daniel diving in. Oh, he's got a chance to dish it. Does get a little tip and wanted to get the bump on Razebull, but Daniel not able to make that play.
Onto the backboard, Arsenal goes to find nobody. Instead, Razebull is able to clear it away straight to CRR. Goes onto the opposition backboard now on 100 boost. Daniel, two terrifying words. The Comlexity are going to be able to shut down quite quickly. CRR removed for his troubles. That back left corner, LJ to the sky. Ceiling is not found, and AJG can thwart that attempt.
A little bit of miscommunication there from Daniel. Cut in when Arsenal had one more touch. And Comlexity seconds away from locking in this first win. It's still up, and Daniel tried to pre-flip to it, but it wasn't the right angle, and Comlexity will be able to close out game 3 and get their first win of the series.
I also like just right at the end, we saw AJG faced with an open net and a ball that was bouncing quite nicely, and he thought, nah, I'm not going to risk me absolutely skying this, sending it on the backboard, then we get counter-attacked, because I will get just destroyed for that online. So let it touch the ground. Comlexity having their wherewithal to get that game number 3. Great play from them as well, and that was much more their game too, because if we look at the amount of saves that Space Station made, it was 3. On Comlexity's side, they've got 7. It's so much more on the side of Comlexity just to hold it back and then wait to attack, then go for those shots. Only 6 shots in total, shooting about a third. Great performance by them. That's the game that Comlexity excel at.
It was, and also notably AJG, very important player in that game, got that rebound off the Razebull flip reset shot and put it top shelf. That is a bounce back game from AJG, only 72 points in the previous game. And now getting that goal in such a tight one, that was a big moment for him.
The man on the screen is going to be going into the back corner for kickoff as CRR fancies it himself. Sticking along with that left goes rule, which I respect, I like it. Razebull then passing central. AJG with a chance to shoot instead. CRR for a very weak one. And normally, you know, we try and work into a series with a little bit of conversation and then going into the casting. This is immediate fire from Comlexity coming out. They are pushing hard. AJG going for the bump. LJ in and out.
And LJ gets the pass over. Hard shot. Razebull does enough to get it out, and AJG will tip it to safety. But that was a bam-bam play right there.
What just happened? That was 1,000 plays in one. I feel like I've just seen every eventuality when nobody scored.
Yeah, there was no warm-up time in this game. It was 0 to 100.
Incredible as LJ now wants to continue that. Maybe go to 111. Arsenal trying to touch that down with CRR blocking him out. Of course, to Daniel again, because who else? Trading lives. Space Station Gaming and Comlexity. sent high again, but Raiseball faces nobody to challenge him, and LJ finally on the line, just on the crossbar again. Arsenal misses. AJG, the man going from 0 to hero and a goal scorer in number 4.
And this was so difficult for Space Station because Daniel had actually side flipped before going to up to that first challenge, and that gave the space to Comlexity, and the defense from Space Station just never recovered. Brief moment of weakness, and Comlexity able to capitalize on the mistakes of Space Station. Space Station find themselves trailing. They started out this series with the 2 game wins, but Comlexity has managed to stop the bleeding, and now with this lead, perhaps they have the upper hand.
I really don't want to harp on about AJG's performance a couple of games ago, but he's already over-doubled those points. He has turned it on. He is now looking spectacular, and coincidence that now Comlexity are starting to win and do a lot better? I think not. He is absolutely integral to their success.
AJG, I mean, you look at that game that he had, and almost anything would be a dramatic improvement. And not only has it been an improvement, but by any measure, AJG having some great games.
Yeah.
And Comlexity, you know, they don't really have the statistical outlier of a player that does all that hard work. They really are a team unit. Raiseball trying to keep that teamwork going. Pinch off to the side while Raiseball has AJG in the midfield. We'll leave it for AJG.
Oh!
And guess what? He slots it.
2 goals, 3 shots. AJG is astonishing. The pass from Raiseball coming in, and then the bump opens it up. Great play.
Yeah, you saw it. Arsenal getting blasted. And the comms were so good. I mean, Raiseball jumping up for that ball. It makes the defense think for a split second he might be going for a flip reset, double tap in the corner to try to get the pass out to the mid. But no, lays off the ball and lets AJG take the shot. And not only does that, but gets the bump on top. So much value added from that Raiseball jump. Well done by Comlexity, and now another scoring chance.
Oh.
AJG was ready for that double tap if it bounced through.
And you've got to shut down that backboard exactly as LJ did, otherwise that is going to be a goal, and LJ is more than aware of it. Raiseball 50ing with that player in question, CRR, and being bumped away by his own teammate. Isn't able to push on that ball, but AJG in a great position to keep that pressure going despite that rotational error that we just saw. LJ, that patience to stay grounded, otherwise he gets dunked by CRR. Daniel onto the ceiling, can continue with that ball, gets over to a Raiseball with the flip reset. CRR to clear it onto the right. And SSG really lacking in the offense that we've seen them excel at in the previous games.
Where is it? Still scoreless. We only have a minute and a half left to play. Daniel flip reset ball, late flip. No, doesn't even flip. Goes for a bump on AJG instead. LJ with the corner boost steal. Raiseball. It looks like he had an input problem. Wasn't able to get that in the corner. And you see Arsenal trying to bully that ball through. Comlexity finally getting a clear out. And oh man! It almost goes in. CRR with the redirect. And now we're on a counterattack again. This is non-stop action.
Just throwing a tennis ball between each other, and Arsenal is the one to smash it home. Great pass over from Daniel. Knows he can just get the 50, bounces brilliantly as well, and then goes for that bump. Raiseball up, does make contact, but because he was forced by Dan, he's not able to get anything from it. A minute remaining. SSG very much still in this fight.
There has been some moments of intense action. That one looked like it was going to be a Comlexity goal, and then before you know it, a goal for Space Station, and that net was very vulnerable if more was on that shot. So Space Station going to be thanking their stars that that one did not go in. But only 45 seconds left. Space Station still trailing. Despite winning those first 2 games, look like they're about to lose 2 straight. Arsenal has LJ in the middle. The pass comes. The shot is blocked.
There's a great pass from Arsenal too. Able to be getting, or rather those demos that we saw Arsenal get. It just opened up for that passing opportunity. AJG though wanting to push and press. 20 seconds, Arsenal again getting that ball central. LJ, oh my gosh. Passing the ball off to the right. There's too many J's in this game.
Daniel, no J, but he shoots it. And now LJ hunting, looking for a bump. Corner boost is his. AJG wants to slow it down. Arsenal keeps it up. Oh, jump! The pass into the middle is required. AJG with a tip. Raiseball wants to get this to the ground, and it's enough of a fake to keep Space Station off the ball. But that was a perilous end for Comlexity. They managed to hold on, but man, was it close.
Raiseball faking there makes me want to be sick. The confidence that he knows that he can just let that ball go, let it drop, and LJ is not close enough to get to it is phenomenal. I'm blown away that he went for that rather than just a bit of a weak touch and then let AJG or CRR in to clear it away. And now, James, I can confirm we do have a timeout. I got it correct.
Are you sure?
It says timeout on the screen.
Who called it? Who called it?
It was Space Station Gaming, James.
All right. I believe you because I see it on the screen.
Thank you, man.
And I think it's a necessary timeout as well for Space Station. It looked like, this series was theirs. They had the slow start, but they managed to fight back, steal game one. And then it was a comfortable game two victory. And that was the game two where AJG only had 72 points. It seemed like this was, I was ready to call it for Comlexity, but Comlexity, they didn't call it timeout, but it seemed like they had something change in those series, and we're starting to see the whole team play come out. AJG really playing well from a shooting perspective. Precision shots from AJG have put Comlexity over the top.
And they've also settled into their own game style. We were saying earlier that they like to sit back a little bit more, be a bit more defensive, spend all of that time in their own back third. They were one of the teams that were near the least amount of time in front of the ball. They like to defend. They relish that. And then when they get their chance, that's then when they throw dagger after dagger after dagger. And it was working in Space Station. I wonder if now the SSG are going to try and go for a couple more tricksy shots where they're going to try and demo a bit more, because that's where you're left vulnerable. If you're defending so often, you know where the players want to be on the defensive side. You know they're going to want to be near that goal, because where else are they going to defend? That just makes them more vulnerable to these demos.
It really does. And maybe that is the answer, Stuff, because just looking at the games that Comlexity won, and all the games that we've played so far, Comlexity has not scored more than 2 goals in a game. They have not scored a whole bunch. But the defense from Comlexity is what has elevated them to these last 2 wins. They've been making the stops, especially in the tight angles. And, the few opportunities that they've gotten, they really have had some precision shooting, primarily from AJG. So can they keep this going? Can they keep winning, only scoring 2 goals? Or will Space Station finally unlock that offensive firepower that we know they have?
This timeout potentially going against Comlexity, though, because in our last 8 games, or last 8 timeouts rather, 6 of the teams that have called them have managed to win that next game. They are vital. We saw how incredible they were last season. It is going to be statistically tough for them, but a game isn't won by statistics. It's won by who can get that ball in the opposite goal a bit more often.
This one, a bit of a slower start. We've had some quick starts before.
I welcome it.
Yeah, just have a moment to settle into this one. LJ, a nice 50. Arsenal waiting in the middle, and AJG will get back. And that is something that Comlexity has done well, is defending from behind, coming from behind the shooters and getting there just in time to mess up the shot. Especially CRR, been doing that quite a bit. Now Arsenal couldn't get over the ball. It skips out to the side, Raiseball to clear. Daniel setting it down for LJ, who hits it hard off the sidewall, going for it again, but CRR speedy will beat LJ out.
Daniel from his own backboard gets it onto the opposite side, can't quite get the goal from it. Oh, AJG! Top bins, lad! That's not the right net!
AJG, you can just tell what he's thinking. He's thinking, oh no, someone's behind me. They're going to be taking the shot. I have to hit this right away, otherwise it's going in. Didn't realize that he had time, and I do think CRR would have been able to get there first, but when the game is being played this fast, sometimes you don't have enough time to look in the rearview mirror. A panicked play, and it bites them. AJG with the own goal.
He'd also already committed onto that flip, and you're not going to be changing your trajectory. Your animation has already begun. Sure, you're still a victim to physics, but if physics wants you to fling yourself at that ball, then physics be damned you're doing it.
That one's going to sting AJG. Let's see if he can recover from that. Space Station getting a goal with some help. We'll see if they can put one more in, and there was a musty attempt from LJ, but it went wide. Daniel has Arsenal. Arsenal doesn't use his boost to go after that play. Instead, will use it to get the corner boost steal. TRR up the sidewall. We saw Raiseball hunting Arsenal down, and now it's going to give a brief one-on-one moment, but AJG with a nice save will skip it high.
The push from SSG has been a little bit less threatening in this game, and yet they do have that lead. Comlexity, they sat back on that defense, and it has not done them well so far. They're going to be changing that game plan, because that is also how they managed to win those previous couple of games. The reset game for CRR, but with no boost until he steals that corner 100. This leaves it now to Arsenal to push, but he misses that corner, that mid-boost rather. The 100 instead going the way of Comlexity, I believe. Touching the center from Arsenal. Great interception by Dan. Towards the net, Raiseball diving in front of AJG. Do you remember those double commits earlier on in the series? It did not do Comlexity any favors.
But Comlexity, they really did benefit from that mid-boost miss from Arsenal. Not only do you not have boost as Arsenal, but then you're giving the opponents that full tank. Spacestation, they recover nicely. Min's shot denied by AJG. That one surely looked like it's going in, and that seems like redemption for AJG.
I mean, he's been incredible offensively in the previous games in this series. Now, defensively, sure, he had that own goal. Don't hold it against the man. He managed to get an incredible save there, and also a little bit earlier on, keeping just that one goal for them to chase. But a minute and a half remaining, and it falls to Arsenal to pass it. Daniel turning away from that. Doesn't want to commit too hard onto it until he goes up against CRR. AJG off the backboard. Gets it around Arsenal, who then can grab the mid-boost. So AJG is going to be a little bit stunted as he flies down with 0.
They're trying to get back down to the ground quickly. Daniel going for it. Now it's Arsenal up against AJG. A nice 50 from AJG. The recovery there as well. But LJ will come in and close the play out. Daniel in a foot race with Raiseball. Raiseball self-pass. Gets it off the ceiling, and it goes high and out too far. CRR wanted the shot. Was hoping for that to bounce down a little bit better for him. Now we're under a minute left to go. The only goal this game was that AJG own goal. But now a ball bouncing across net. No one from Comlexity there to punch that one in.
Oh, you could bundle every SSG player in a small sock. Just seeing how close they were together. They weren't able to get too far out, and so it continues that pressure from Comlexity. AJG catching in the mid with only 20 boosts. He gets one reset. Can he step and use it? No, instead LJ is going to be able to clear that ball away. CRR now corner bound and cleared away yet again. LJ touching the double commit. Pass though, finds Arsenal from LJ's hit. Final 10 seconds. Comlexity needs something, otherwise history sees this as an own goal loss.
Raiseball in reverse. Trying to control it. LJ knows he needs to melt time. There's the flip reset. Musty kept alive. Daniel can't get the double tap. AJG hits it out to the middle, and there it will finally hit. Spacestation after the timeout win a close one. Another low-scoring game. And really, I mean, Daniel gets credited for the goal, but we saw what happened, Stumpy.
Yeah, and stunting that push from Comlexity after they lost 2 games SSG. Comlexity winning those 2. That timeout vital. We are now at 7 out of the last 9 timeouts taken have led to a win for the team that took that timeout, which is quite interesting really, because both teams have the same amount of time. So it just all comes down to momentum. It's quite interesting to consider what actually is the difference. Why do they end up winning a bit more? It shuts down the momentum. It changes how the losing team is going to approach the next game. Whereas the winning team is just like, well, we know we're going to keep on doing that. We know that works because we won games out of it. So what else would we do? But now Neo Tokyo with no timeout taken for Comlexity, an incredibly interesting choice.
It really is, especially after the stat you named, how most of the time it seems like timeouts work out for the team who called them. But Comlexity, with their tournament life on the line in this game on Neo Tokyo, decide to keep on playing. No timeout needed. Can Spacestation close this out, or will Comlexity force a Game 7?
It's anyone's guess, but both these teams are going to not want to leave it up to guesswork. They want it to be the most convincing statistics-based win that they are possibly going to be able to get, as it's cleared long from that defense by Daniel, immediately finding LJ to the backboard. CRR clearing it away, and the push from SSG, it starts instantly on this new map.
Raise Bull in the corner, half a tank of boost. It kicks out Arsenal. If that ball was a little slower, Arsenal would have had time to line up a shot, but that one shot out quick.
There's Arsenal there as well, just being able to get that back 100 and then slowing the game down. The change of pace from SSG has been wonderful to witness. They go for the occasional, go crazy, go just throw everything at this ball, go kitchen sink, everything, and then it's, okay, we're going to get the 100 boost and slow it down, and then we might try and speed it up, then we might go for a demo. It to me feels like they have still got control of this series. They're still doing a great job in dictating the speed of play.
We're seeing the multiple looks from Spacestation, but even last game, offensively, this has not been a flashy game from either team. We've seen some top goals scored on both ends, and even last game, the own goal, that was all there was. So we'll see if either one of these squads can find that magic offensively. Almost a dunk goal for Raise Bull. Arsenal will kick it downfield. CRR is able to collect it, but almost a dunk goal. And even there, Raise Bull doesn't make contact. Pass upfield. CRR, the double tap won't come to fruition.
Double commit from Arsenal and LJ, with the 100 boost stolen for LJ. CRR then has to go all the way back into his own corner. Only 50 for Raise Bull to push via. AJG now with that mid-boost steal, falls it to CRR, goes over one, but Arsenal is there to collect it quite handily into the back corner. Daniel actually went mid for that, so he wasn't expecting this shot to come in, or rather the pass. LJ challenging in the midfield alongside CRR. Ooh, bumped is Daniel, and so LJ is going to have to be taking command of this next push.
And I like that play from Daniel. Daniel not having any boost, but could keep Raise Bull off the ball, goes for the bump to give LJ that space, and SSG eventually getting out of dodge with possession. Raise Bull and Arsenal flailing in the corner. It is a fight for the ball.
Just doing anything. Every player just doing whatever it is that they can to get any advantage on this. CRR, I thought was low on boost, but instead has preserved his incredibly. And LJ foregoing the ball to get the 100 boost instead that time. Just seeing how important that is. The bump not quite out on CRR. The pass did come in, but cleared away by Daniel with very low on his end. It forced the AJG to shoot. AJG crossbar saved away by nobody other than the pitch itself.
Yeah, I was going to say, who saved that? But you're right. That one just bouncing out. Daniel with no boost, couldn't get a piece of it. And now he jumps early. He doesn't. Oh, and it's going in from the bump. What was that?
That was genius. That was everything the Comlexity needed. Again on that counter-attack, CRR doesn't need to touch the ball. No, he just needs to smack LJ across the chops. Sends him into the corner. Brilliant play. Ingenious play as well. We saw how effective that was when V1, literally about, I don't know, an hour ago, won their series because of a play like that. Great movement from them.
Sometimes all you need is a bump. And again, not the prettiest of goals, but a goal nonetheless. And Daniel jumped early, just mistimed his jump and realized too late that that ball was sailing over his head. So Spacestation give one away there. Raise Bull trying to force the issue in the corner. Daniel pops it out. AJG going for it again, but LJ will pinch it out. Arsenal with a pinch himself, flip reset. Going for the bump as well. Oh, doesn't go in. Now it's a nice 50 from Daniel, who puts it right back into the net. Daniel, his car is heavy.
That man is 5.5 foot of solid lead. Just straight into that ball, sandwiches it, and then straight onto it. Like a whippet, kicks it in the net. One goal apiece, 1 minute remaining, and only one winner from this match on Neo Tokyo.
Daniel making amends for that defensive mistake. The 50, I don't know how he was able to stay still, stop the ball, and push the other player off of it. That one almost leaking in, but CRR able to clear it out. AJG has CRR in the middle. AJG wants to go for the dunk himself, and it's pinched out to the corner. Daniel gets the demo on the wall, and now is upfield.
Another?
But goes off the ball. Daniel streaking out, decided to go for boost instead of staying in the play. LJ with the dribble, light flick. It's off the crossbar. Raise Bull will tip it past Arsenal.
So many different choices being made in this final minute or so. Where we saw Daniel previously, I'm sure he would have gone for the shot, but instead wanted to go for the bump. LJ over the top of Daniel is going to secure it away, but AJG just sends him flying. A good bump on Daniel, but he is still able to clear it. Raise Ball tips it upwards. Arsenal back to Daniel, isn't able to get that wonder goal. Instead, CRR, as it bounces off the ceiling, is going to land. Overtime, SSG need one more goal, and they go through to our semis tomorrow.
And there was only one overtime in this series so far up until this point. It almost went 5 minutes, and Space Station won it. Can they win this one to close the deal? Comlexity.
Game 1, right?
Yeah, it was game 1. Started out with that, and there is a missed hit from Arsenal on the goal line, and Comlexity will force game 7.
From a 5-minute overtime to just a 20-second overtime. Opposite ways that we're seeing them end, and Comlexity take us to game 7, our third of the day. NRG beat Optic in their game 7. Version 1 beat Furia in their game 7. And it is up to whoever takes this game to go through into those semis to face off versus FaZe or Gen G. What a matchup that is we got later on. But until then, do we see a timeout from Comlexity? They just won, but they've not used it. So I'm intrigued.
We haven't yet. Honestly, this feels like a Rocky movie. A bunch of watching Comlexity get beat up, but they just don't stay down. And all of a sudden, we find ourselves in the game 7 decider.
Comlexity, they can do this all day. They don't care. They're standing back up. They're shaking off the bruises. And they don't use their timeout. Comlexity, are you aware that you've got it? Are you aware that you've got to use it? Oh, this is great. What a series we're seeing. This Saturday has been wonderful.
And really, this has been a bare-knuckle brawl. They have been throwing punches. There's been so many scrappy goals, scrums, demos, fights for possession in the corner, bumps out of the air. The goals, they might not be pretty, but guess what, Stuffy? They still count.
Every goal counts for one, whether it's a quad reset or whether it's just a bit of a trickler, a worm burner, as my good friend James Bott would say. That's all you need.
Well, generally, worm burners are pretty fast. That's why they get burned.
It's a baseball reference. I tried my best.
You did your best. That's all right.
It's late. It's now past 9 p.m.
I mean, it's even late in this series, going the distance all the way to game 7. AJG, boom it upfield. AJG, the shot, far post, blocked by LJ. We're seeing demos come out. The net is vulnerable, but it was blocked. LJ leaves the ball for Arsenal. Self pass off the corner. Corner boost steal from Arsenal, who's going to shadow this ball, looking for a 50. LJ zooms in to help and wins that ball. SSG pushing, and now the shot comes in, but it's too high. CRR with one pad will flick it, and it's a high pop from LJ, and it's into a nice spot. Daniel able to air dribble this ball out.
That counterattack, this time unsuccessful, but I don't think you can rely on them being unsuccessful, Space Station. You threw everything in that play, and you just escaped by the skin of your teeth. I think also we've spoken about LJ and Daniel quite a lot. I don't think we've spoken about Arsenal too much because he's been on every play in pretty much every situation that I would want to see him in. I think that Arsenal has been a wonderful player for SSG in this match.
Arsenal seems to be in the mix almost always. The glue that holds this team together. A very creative player, unpredictable, and also one that loves to bump and demo. But gets demoed himself. CRR taking Arsenal off the pitch. And there's a bump from Daniel. It's bouncing down. Raise Bull getting blocked by LJ. Arsenal with the mid boost will have Daniel as an outlet pass. Opts to use it. Now Daniel up and blocked down by AJG. Arsenal going for a solo play. Bumps CRR off the ball, and Raise Bull there to clear it out to the corner.
Just clutched right at the end. And Comlexity, they seem relatively at home here in these game 5s and 7s. Out of their last, 10 series we've seen them in, They've done well. They've got 7 game 5s and 7s. They're pushing as hard as they can here. They've got a 66% win rate, and that push, though unsuccessful, I think is a sign of things to come.
Things not coming easy for Comlexity, and this has not been an easy series for either team. CRR to the sidewall. Arsenal leaves it for Daniel. Daniel looking for a bump, but no one jumped up for it. Late challenge, CRR. Now taking it to the ground. LJ given space. CRR with quality challenges. Buys time for his teammates to get boost, but Arsenal will go high. Back pass from AJG, and Razebull will clear it out, saving boost for the follow-up challenge. CRR to the sidewall, and you see some confusion. AJG and Razebull both thinking about going for it, and that gives Spacestation more time to get this play in order.
It gives them time to get the play in order, it gives them time to get boost, gives them time to figure out what they need to do with their positioning, and they have done so. That back left corner has been witness to half of this game, it feels like, so far. He's barely worked his way out. LJ being beaten there by CRR, but on the backboard, Arsenal's going to be laying in wait like a spider in his nest, clearing that ball away. And JG sees a player in the midfield, isn't able to get it past Daniel on that attempt. On the second, he finds Daniel yet again. The defense from him, and that monstrous flick. Jesus God, man.
That was a Jazer flick if I've ever seen one. Almost to the ceiling. AJG gets a piece of it. It bounces high. Daniel does have the read. LJ helping out. Air dribble, pinch to the corner. Razebull stealing it from LJ. This one leaks out to Arsenal. To pinch to the opposite corner. I guess we'll call that the Space Station corner, even though it's in Comlexity's half. Arsenal with control. Final 30 seconds. Still no goal has been scored.
I think Space Station have got squatters' rights in that back corner, to be honest. They have been there more than we've seen Comlexity there, but on their own goal line. Daniel Hassey making that clutch save. Final 15 seconds as Razebull puts something deadly on that there. LJ in the sky. Arsenal waiting in the corner, not really doing much, and so it allows Comlexity to work their way back in. We were praising him earlier, but that was certainly a misplay. AJG over the top of one, but Daniel able to get one touch to it on the ceiling. Down for the overtime. LJ lets it drop. Game 7 OT, the semi-finals await for our next goal scorers.
Space Station won Game 1 overtime. We saw Comlexity win Game 6 overtime. Who will have it in Game 7? Early chance denied by Razebull. Razebull passes to Arsenal. Arsenal, a low shot, and it's blocked by CRR.
And now it's the push for Razebull down the pitch. The counters have been incredible for them so far. With Daniel, though, being able to take control, he gets it now onto the midfield line, then goes low with that challenge, then goes high with the second one, then goes up for the double with nobody there. Daniel putting all the legwork. He just needed someone to commit on it, and again Arsenal to commit this time. Daniel to shoot, Razebull to save. It is frenetic on that back line for Comlexity.
Comlexity live to fight another day. Shot after shot denied. But how long do they do it? They're still alive. Daniel, Arsenal, and it's cleared out. Counterattack opportunity. Comlexity, how have they not lost this game?
They are saviors of the highest degree. Comlexity, they've got that star as their logo, and they are stars across the pitch. I can't believe that the amount of defense they just put forward. It sums up how they played so far. Razebull to shoot on the easy net, with Daniels getting it central, though. Both LJ and Arsenal worth committing on that ball. Arsenal wants to shoot on that open net right at the back, but Razebull, I feel, was just luring them in to get rid of the possession. A demo attempt coming in for Arsenal there, but slowed down by CRR. Doesn't go anywhere with it now. CRR lurking on that back line. Can't get the bump off. Arsenal can bump AJG. And that composure is revolting.
Arsenal, one of the best bumpers and demoers in the game, could not get AJG in his crosshairs. AJG making the stop, and now we see a demo at the mid. AJG blocked out, going for a bump himself. Comlexity, they've got 9 lives.
They've got 9 lives. They've burned about 30 of them, so I'm not too sure who's counting on that team, because they all think they're completely invincible. LJ, left wing, sees him then go to the ceiling, can't get that second touch it before AJG does. So now Razebull trying to pinch it with LJ. The challenge going to the midfield, which is where we're seeing Comlexity feel oh so at home. Daniel pinching onto that right side. Razor with 100 boost, gets it high, and the push now commencing until LJ gets that ball first. This has been a phenomenal push from both teams. CRR can tip it around, but Daniel, top corner savior this time.
Daniel, that was a nice stop. CRR,
that's one.
The backboard. Daniel didn't make contact, but the shot didn't come through either.
Such a close chance. Not quite able to send it away this time. CRR taking that control, flicking into the corner. Arsenal to pinch it. That's just wide of the net. And pinch back again. I'm getting whiplash from this game.
Your neck has got to start hurting. Looking at the blue half, looking at the orange half, the ball launching from one end to the other. And still, we don't have a goal. This game scoreless for over 5, 6, 8 minutes. Will we see one anytime soon?
And we saw the quick overtime go the way of Comlexity, but the long overtime right at the start, that went the way of SSG, when just the weight of their pushes just wore down Comlexity. Again, a shot. No save this time. Dan, the man, to the semi-finals.
Daniel ending the series. Wraith Bull had 6 boosts. Needed 6 more to stop that one. What a series. Space Station are moving on to the semis.
I'm in buckets of sweat from how tense that ended up being from the caster booth. I can't imagine how they're feeling. And look at the relief. Arsenal straight to Twitter. Good man, farm the impressions. I don't think you can do it quite as well as apparently Jack is doing somehow. He tweets something and gets like 1,000 likes. Arsenal wanting to just make sure that everybody knows how much that series means to him, I'm sure. And Chrome, he had his 2 hands together praying, yes, we did it. We're in the semi-finals.
And for Comlexity, what a difficult journey this has been. Let's talk about the teams they have had to play in this event. Optic, Gen.G, FaZe version 1, and now Space Station. It doesn't get harder than that.
They went to the final game, either 5 or 7, versus Optic, V1, and SSG. Their only sweep was when they won versus Gen.G. Otherwise, they lost once to FaZe. And that is a phenomenal run. That proves why they are one of the best teams here. They were let down a little bit by their first performance in our Fall Open. But here, they have absolutely shown up. They just couldn't get it done today. Space Station Gaming, congratulations, guys. You made it to the semis just to face off versus one of our 2 teams upcoming, James.
Oh, that was such an incredible series. A real thriller. But, Stumpy, I don't know about you. I need to just take a few moments, get some water, and recover. So we're going to go to a quick break. And when we come back, we'll have our final match of the day.